Surface-operated toggle switch is typically used for industrial applications and is designed to be activated by foot. They have a large, flat surface that can be pressed down to engage the buzzer, and they automatically return to the off position when pressure is released. Momentary push-button switches activate the buzzer when they are pressed and release it when the pressure is removed. You could combine this with a spring-loaded mechanism to create a toggle effect. A simple spring can be attached to the toggle switch, pulling it back to the off position when it is released. A hinge with an integrated spring can be used to connect the toggle switch to the buzzer housing. When the switch is pulled down, the spring extends, activating the buzzer. When the switch is released, the spring retracts, pulling the switch back up. The toggle switch and spring-loaded mechanism should be enclosed in a protective housing. The buzzer can be mounted on the housing or on a separate panel. The toggle switch and buzzer should be wired together according to the manufacturer's instructions. The device should be durable enough to withstand repeated use in a training environment. Ensure that the device is safe to use around animals and humans. The toggle switch should be comfortable and easy to operate, even during extended training sessions. When selecting components and designing the circuit for the dog training buzzer, several electrical considerations are crucial. Firstly, determine the appropriate voltage for the buzzer. Most small buzzers operate on low voltage, typically between 3 volts and 12 volts direct current. Ensure that the power source, whether it's a battery or a power adapter, matches the voltage requirement of the buzzer. Secondly, consider the current draw of the buzzer. This information is usually available in the buzzer's datasheet. Select a power source that can supply sufficient current to operate the buzzer reliably. If using a battery, choose one with an appropriate ampere rating to provide adequate power for the duration of the training sessions. Thirdly, the wiring should be appropriately sized to handle the current. Use a wire gauge that is suitable for the current flowing through the circuit to prevent overheating and ensure efficient operation. Refer to the National Electrical Code Table 310.15. B16 for ampacities of insulated conductors. Fourthly, the toggle switch must be rated for the voltage and current of the circuit. Choose a switch with a voltage and current rating that exceeds the requirements of the buzzer circuit to ensure safe and reliable operation. Fifthly, implement overcurrent protection such as a fuse to protect the circuit from damage in case of a short circuit or other fault. Select a fuse with a current rating slightly higher than the normal operating current of the buzzer to prevent nuisance tripping. Sixthly, ensure that all connections are secure and properly insulated to prevent accidental shorts or shocks. Use appropriate connectors and wiring techniques to create a robust and reliable circuit. Seventhly, if using a power adapter, ensure that it is properly grounded to prevent electrical hazards. Connect the ground wire to a suitable grounding point to provide a safe path for fault currents. Eighthly, consider using a current-limiting resistor in series with the buzzer to control the volume and prevent damage to the buzzer. Experiment with different resistor values to find the optimal volume level for the training environment. Ninthly, if the buzzer is exposed to the elements or used in a damp environment, ensure that all components are properly sealed and protected from moisture. Use waterproof connectors and enclosures to prevent corrosion and electrical hazards. Tenthly, thoroughly test the circuit before use to ensure that it is functioning correctly and that all safety measures are in place. Use a multimeter to measure voltage, current, and resistance to verify that the circuit is operating within acceptable parameters. Considering these electrical aspects will help ensure the safe, reliable, and effective operation of the dog training buzzer. For the housing and implementation of the dog training buzzer, there are several mechanical considerations to keep in mind to ensure its durability, safety, and ease of use. Firstly, select a suitable enclosure material. The enclosure should be made of a durable material that can withstand the rigors of daily use in a training environment. Options include plastic, metal, or composite materials. Choose a material that is resistant to impact, moisture, and temperature changes. Secondly, design the enclosure to be ergonomically friendly. The enclosure should be comfortable to hold and easy to operate even during extended training sessions. Consider the size, shape, and weight of the enclosure to ensure that it fits comfortably in the hand. Thirdly, provide adequate protection for the internal components. The enclosure should be designed to protect the toggle switch, buzzer, and wiring from damage due to impact, moisture, or dust. Use a sealed enclosure or provide gaskets to prevent moisture from entering. Fourthly, ensure that the toggle switch is securely mounted to the enclosure. The toggle switch should be mounted in a way that prevents it from being accidentally dislodged or damaged. Use a mounting bracket or bezel to secure the switch to the enclosure. Fifthly, provide a secure mounting point for the buzzer. The buzzer should be mounted in a way that allows it to be heard clearly without being muffled or obstructed. Consider mounting the buzzer on the front or side of the enclosure. Sixthly, incorporate a strain relief for the wiring. The wiring should be routed through a strain relief to prevent it from being pulled or damaged. Use a cable gland or strain relief bushing to secure the wiring to the enclosure. Seventhly, provide a means of attaching the device to a leash or belt. If the device is intended to be carried around during training sessions, provide a clip or loop for attaching it to a leash or belt. Ensure that the attachment point is strong and durable. Eighthly, consider using a spring-loaded mechanism to provide tactile feedback. A spring-loaded mechanism can be used to provide a satisfying click or other tactile feedback when the toggle switch is activated. This can help the user to know when the buzzer has been activated. Ninthly, design the enclosure to be easy to disassemble and service. The enclosure should be designed in a way that allows it to be easily disassembled for maintenance or repair. Use screws or other fasteners that can be easily removed and replaced. Tenthly, thoroughly test the device to ensure that it is durable, reliable, and safe to use. Subject the device to a variety of tests, including drop tests, vibration tests, and environmental tests to verify that it can withstand the rigors of daily use. Considering these mechanical aspects will help ensure that the dog training buzzer is durable, safe, and easy to use. To implement the spring-loaded mechanism for the dog training buzzer, several design considerations are important to ensure smooth and reliable operation. Firstly, select an appropriate spring type. There are several types of springs that can be used, including compression springs, extension springs, and torsion springs. Choose a spring that is appropriate for the intended application and provides the desired force and travel. Secondly, determine the spring force. The spring force should be sufficient to return the toggle switch to the off position when it is released, but not so strong that it makes the switch difficult to activate. Experiment with different spring forces to find the optimal balance. Thirdly, design the spring mounting. The spring should be mounted in a way that allows it to move freely without binding or rubbing. Use a spring cup or other mounting hardware to secure the spring in place. Fourthly, consider the spring travel. The spring travel should be sufficient to allow the toggle switch to move from the off position to the on position and back again. Ensure that the spring does not bottom out or overextend during operation. Fifthly, incorporate a stop mechanism. A stop mechanism can be used to limit the travel of the toggle switch and prevent it from being overextended. This can help to prolong the life of the switch and prevent damage to the spring. Sixthly, consider using a spring-loaded hinge. A spring-loaded hinge can be used to connect the toggle switch to the buzzer housing. This can simplify the design and provide a compact and reliable mechanism. Seventhly, protect the spring from the elements. If the device is exposed to the elements, the spring should be protected from moisture and corrosion. Use a stainless steel spring or apply a protective coating to prevent rust. Eighthly, consider using a preloaded spring. A preloaded spring is a spring that is already compressed or extended where it is installed. This can help to improve the responsiveness of the mechanism and reduce the amount of force required to activate the switch. Ninthly, design the mechanism to be adjustable. The mechanism should be designed in a way that allows the spring force and travel to be adjusted. This can be useful for fine-tuning the performance of the device. Tenthly, thoroughly test the mechanism to ensure that it is reliable and durable. Subject the mechanism to a variety of tests, including cycle tests and load tests, to verify that it can withstand the rigors of daily use. Considering these design aspects will help ensure that the spring-loaded mechanism is reliable, durable, and effective. When designing the wiring for the dog training buzzer, several factors must be taken into account to ensure safety, reliability, and optimal performance. Firstly, select the appropriate wire gauge. The wire gauge should be sized to handle the current requirements of the buzzer without overheating or causing excessive voltage drop. Refer to the National Electrical Code Table 310.15. B16 for ampacities of insulated conductors. Secondly, choose the correct wire type. The wire type should be appropriate for the environment in which the buzzer will be used. For example, if the buzzer will be exposed to moisture, use a waterproof wire. Thirdly, use proper wiring techniques. All connections should be made using proper wiring techniques, such as soldering or using crimp connectors. Ensure that all connections are secure and insulated to prevent shorts or accidental contact. Fourthly, provide overcurrent protection. Overcurrent protection, such as a fuse or circuit breaker, should be provided to protect the circuit from damage in the event of a short circuit or overload. Select a fuse or circuit breaker with a rating that is appropriate for the wire gauge and the current requirements of the buzzer. Fifthly, use a switch with the appropriate voltage and current rating. The switch should be rated for the voltage and current of the circuit. Ensure that the switch is capable of handling the maximum current that the buzzer will draw. Sixthly, provide strain relief for the wires. Strain relief should be provided for the wires to prevent them from being pulled or damaged. This can be accomplished by using cable clamps or other strain relief devices. Seventhly, use color-coded wiring. Color-coded wiring can help to prevent confusion and make it easier to troubleshoot the circuit. Use standard color codes such as black for ground, red for positive, and white for neutral. Eighthly, keep the wiring neat and organized. The wiring should be kept neat and organized to prevent tangles and make it easier to troubleshoot the circuit. Use wire ties or other means of bundling the wires together. Ninthly, test the wiring thoroughly. The wiring should be tested thoroughly before the buzzer is used to ensure that all connections are secure and that the circuit is functioning properly. Use a multimeter to check for continuity and voltage. Tenthly, follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. The wiring should be installed in accordance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. This will help to ensure that the buzzer is safe and compliant with local laws. Considering these wiring aspects will help ensure that the dog training buzzer is safe, reliable, and performs optimally. To ensure the robustness of the dog training buzzer for repeated use, consider these points. Firstly, use durable materials. Select high-quality materials for all components of the buzzer, including the enclosure, switch, wiring, and buzzer itself. Choose materials that are resistant to wear, tear, and environmental factors. Secondly, protect the components. Protect the internal components of the buzzer from damage by using a sturdy enclosure and providing strain relief for the wiring. Consider using a sealed enclosure to protect the components from moisture and dust. Thirdly, use a high-quality switch. Select a switch that is rated for the number of cycles that it will be used. Choose a switch that is designed for heavy-duty use and that is resistant to wear and tear. Fourthly, use secure connections. Ensure that all connections are secure and that they will not come loose during use. Use proper wiring techniques and high-quality connectors. Fifthly, test the buzzer thoroughly. Test the buzzer thoroughly before it is put into use to ensure that it is functioning properly and that it can withstand repeated use. Subject the buzzer to a variety of tests, including cycle tests, drop tests, and environmental tests. Sixthly, provide for easy maintenance. Design the buzzer so that it is easy to maintain and repair. Use modular components that can be easily replaced. Seventhly, consider the ergonomics. Design the buzzer so that it is comfortable to use, even during extended training sessions. Consider the size, shape, and weight of the buzzer. Eighthly, provide clear instructions. Provide clear instructions for the use and maintenance of the buzzer. This will help to ensure that the buzzer is used properly and that it will last for a long time. Ninthly, consider the environment. Consider the environment in which the buzzer will be used. If the buzzer will be used in a harsh environment, such as outdoors or in a dusty environment, take steps to protect it from the elements. 10thly, listen to feedback. Listen to feedback from users of the buzzer and make improvements as needed. This will help to ensure that the buzzer is meeting the needs of its users and that it is as robust as possible. By considering these factors, you can help to ensure that the dog training buzzer is robust and that it will provide reliable service for many years to come. Regarding the safety considerations for the dog training buzzer, note the following. Firstly, use low voltage. Use a low voltage power supply to minimize the risk of electric shock. Secondly, provide overcurrent protection. Provide overcurrent protection such as a fuse or circuit breaker to protect the circuit from damage in the event of a short circuit or overload. Thirdly, use insulated wiring. Use insulated wiring to prevent accidental contact with live wires. Fourthly, use a non-conductive enclosure. Use a non-conductive enclosure to protect the user from electric shock. Fifthly, provide strain relief for the wiring. Provide strain relief for the wiring to prevent the wires from being pulled or damaged. Sixthly, use a switch with the appropriate voltage and current rating. Use a switch that is rated for the voltage and current of the circuit. Seventhly, keep the buzzer away from water. Keep the buzzer away from water to prevent electric shock. Eighthly, supervise children. Supervise children when they are using the buzzer. Ninthly, do not use the buzzer if it is damaged. Do not use the buzzer if it is damaged or if the wiring is frayed. 10thly, follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. Follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations when installing and using the buzzer. 11thly, avoid prolonged exposure to the buzzer sound. The buzzer should be used in short bursts, and prolonged exposure to the sound should be avoided to prevent auditory fatigue or discomfort for both the dog and the handler. 12thly, the device should not be used punitively. The device is intended as a training aid and should not be used for punishment. Misuse can cause undue stress or anxiety for the dog. 13thly, consult with a professional dog trainer. When introducing any new training tool, consulting with a professional dog trainer is advisable to ensure the tool is used effectively and humanely. Considering these safety aspects will help ensure the safe operation of the dog training buzzer.